The world knows Tekashi 69 for being a master troll, a self-made internet villain who constantly laughed at the music industry.
Think online got anything to do with it too?
Nah, I tell niggas suck my every day.
My father used to always say, if you tell somebody to suck your man, you gotta be ready to either kill or die.
And I'm ready to die, and I'm ready to kill.
Jesus Christ.
They know the story of his cooperation, his freedom, and his initial, albeit fleeting, comeback.
Y'all could never cooperate with the government and come back. Y'all could never do that. I'm a living legend at the age of 24 years old.
But for all his talk of winning and being untouchable, the real ending to his story was never going to be a street war or a jail sentence.
So-called his loyalty and everything and no snitching and all of that, I get it, right? But where was the loyalty when you was sleeping with my baby mother? Where was the loyalty when you was caught on the wiretap trying to kill me? Where was the loyalty when you tried to kidnap my mother? Where was the loyalty when you was stealing millions of dollars from me? Where was that?
It was a cold, quiet knock from the most boring, most powerful enemy of all, the tax man. The shocking truth about 6ix9ine's downfall isn't what happened on the streets, it's what happened on the ledger.
If Tekashi 69 beats this case, I'll suck his dick. He don't even have to
Shit.
We're talking about the complete annihilation of his lavish lifestyle, where the things he used to flaunt, the customized cars and diamond-encrusted chains, were simply repossessed and put up for auction by the IRS federal agents, raided his Lake Worth, Florida home and stripped him of his empire. The rainbow-haired menace who claimed to run New York had his luxury Bentley and a $175,000 Lamborghini Urus seized, not by a rival gang, but by a legal document. And here is the truly exposed part. Those sales only covered a fraction of the millions he's rumored to still owe the government. His entire identity, built on blinding wealth, was legally dismantled, proving that no amount of trolling can stop the IRS. But that wasn't the whole story of his self-sabotage. The moment he walked free, the clock on his career reset to zero.
We beat the industry. Fuck is y'all talking about? I can't beat nigga. To then a rat like me to come home and still do more numbers than you, I will be mad too.
But the industry was done with his act. The unavoidable consequence of taking the stand had nothing to do with street credibility and everything to do with business.
To be honest, since I got out of jail, I feel like I've just been blackballed from a lot of things.
The entire hip-hop ecosystem had already agreed. 6ix9ine was blackballed. Sure, he dropped a few hits, but when it came to his album Tattletales, the lack of support was deafening.
Because it was projected to not be #1 at first, and I wasn't bothered by that.
So it's not just you, the world, like people watching see it like, oh my God, they're blackballing him, right? But the way the industry makes it look is like, Tekashi puts out the album, huge flop.
There was a conscious, documented effort to make sure his numbers didn't count, with reports suggesting his label practically gave the cold shoulder, instead directing all their attention to promoting a Big Sean album that dropped the very same week. He was given zero promo and no boost, the full, crushing reality of his isolated status. He could yell and scream online all he wanted, but the men in suits had already quietly determined his commercial fate. The troll had become a liability, and this complete lack of support left him scrambling for money and a new identity. And what happened next would shock everyone. The financial pressure eventually pushed him into the arms of the influencer world.
My album, Tattletales.
He went from a global rap star to a glorified content creator, most notably with the controversial YouTube star Steve Will Do It.
So what happened between you and 6ix9ine?
I got him a deal, right? To play video games
With Rumble?
once a week for an hour.
Damn.
$2 million up front, and he just doesn't do it. He had no money at the time, and he needed money to fucking. He breaks up with his girlfriend, and he needs money to buy Birkin bags for all these black chicks and give away money to make his girlfriend jealous. That's literally like the factual story. He told the company, I need $2 million up front so I can buy a content house. See these videos of him giving away money and stuff, it's never his money.
This was supposed to be his pivot, the perfect way to monetize his persona without the music machine. Steve vouched for him, setting up a massive $2 million advance for him to stream on a platform called Kick. The deal was simple: play video games and show up. But in a display of true self-sabotage and arrogance, 6ix9ine did one single stream, immediately got lazy, and ghosted the platform. That full $2 million advance vanished. Reports from Steve himself later claimed the money was instantly spent on lavish material gifts, specifically to spite his ex-girlfriend, a rumor that paints a picture of a man incapable of managing an empire. Steve was left on the hook for the massive debt, a clear, concise piece of evidence that 6ix9ine wasn't just a troll, he was a friend, betraying financial liability. With his reputation in the US music and influencer circuits completely exposed, 6ix9ine began spending all his time overseas, famously claiming he no longer needed security. He'd flash his cash and cars, posting videos bragging that he was untouchable and safe. But the final, humiliating end to the tough guy myth came in the most mundane location possible: an LA fitness sauna in Florida. Footage of the rapper getting violently jumped circulated everywhere, a moment that definitively proved the troll persona was just an illusion. But the revealed part of that story is what he did next. Instead of accepting the consequences of his high-risk lifestyle, 6ix9ine sued LA Fitness for $1 million. He claimed the gym failed to protect him and was negligent, arguing that two of his attackers were non-members who shouldn't have been there. It's a cash grab of astounding entitlement, where a man who boasted about his violence suddenly demanded preferential celebrity protection from a low-cost gym chain. Yet somehow he still had one more trick up his sleeve. Just as it seemed the financial and legal walls were closing in, a new, surprising lifeline appeared: the cartel music deal. This was a massive $6 million record deal, but it came with conditions designed to utterly break the 6ix9ine fans knew. The deal was strategically focused on the Latin market, demanding a 10-track album with Mexican artists and a massive tour through Latin America. The most revealing part was the fine print. This was not a handout. It came with two major non-negotiable clauses. First, a substantial portion of the money had to be immediately directed to pay down his looming IRS debt, a clear sign the government was forcing the issue. Second, he was strictly forbidden from talking SHE online, and, most importantly, he could not get arrested again. The label had essentially purchased the right to silence the troll. For millions, 6ix9ine signed away the very nature of the controversial persona that made him famous. This brings us to his present-day silence. The man who lived and breathed controversy has been mostly quiet. It's not a choice, it's a mandatory compliance. The final truth of 6ix9ine's story is that his endless trolling, his boasting, and his disregard for the rules all culminated in a life of financial and legal restrictions. He is now forced to be a ghost, working to pay off debts that his previous career created, all while under the threat of having his new contract ripped away if he tweets the wrong thing or gets a single traffic ticket. He's been lucky, dodging death and heavy jail time, but he remains trapped. His loud, brazen image was ultimately broken by two things he could never troll: the cold, calculating hand of the law and the unyielding power of the IRS. The loudest rapper in the world has been silenced by his own consequences.